Yuan Ming. I had a dream this week. And in this dream, it was all about old experiences, realistic experience from my life, and experiences from the retreats, and also dreams, being sometimes seemingly unrealistic and so on. And when I woke up, I found out that I had realized something in the dream, that there was this deep disbelief that attaining the true self would never happen. And then, so this is when I was awake, I started to think about what pattern that actually could be. And then I, just allowed my Shen to roam through the patterns. And I realized that it was an excessive expectation. Deep inside, there was this strong belief that that wouldn't happen ever. Now that we talk about it, it doesn't seem like such a big thing. But at that morning, waking up from that dream that has shown me so clearly a deep hidden part within myself, it made so much sense. And that's what a realization does. It makes you see something clearly. It was a real aha moment for me. And so I thought, wow, okay. So that is very interesting. So this is basically what an excessive expectation is. Excessive expectations are basically one belief system, one thought that you think is true within you. And there's many, of course, or there can be many. Let's see. How would this affect us in our lives? We don't necessarily need to believe in something for it to be the reality, because there is always the laws of the universe. So every situation, every person, every living creature has its own law. But how does it look like with believing against something? We know from the theory of Qi and the practice with Qi, we know how powerful human consciousness is. We also know that from the theory of Shen Yi, so human consciousness and true self. When we work with Qi, we know we can draw it to specific places or areas. We can give Qi orders to do what we needed to do. And we know that we can change the quality of the Qi because we can change the information. Now, everything flows with its regarding laws. But can we intercept Qi? Can we block Qi from being able to flow where it is supposed to flow? Can we maybe stop the Qi from being able to penetrate? Or can we taint the information through believing the opposite? In other words, adding to the information of the Qi that is flowing into us from the universe, the Qi that's flowing towards us in a certain situation. So the information would be the laws of that situation, the laws of that life. And when we add information with our powerful human consciousness, it can change. So when we look at it from the perspective of an excessive expectation, do we then see how yes, when I strongly believe in something that is false, I keep having that information inside of me, inside of my consciousness, and that information keeps being transmitted into its surroundings. And the surroundings are, well, the body, the own consciousness, the organs, the Qifield around us, other persons' consciousnesses, other persons' consciousnesses, the consciousness of other people, to nature, to animals. It flows into the Qi field of the universe because it's being transmitted. So, yes, if we can influence information and the body via the chi in a positive way, yes, we can influence it in a negative way as well. So, is it important that we become aware of what we truly believe against something? Is it important to find out what we resist as well? Basically, we resist because of some fixed expectation. Some excessive expectation. An excessive expectation is a very strong belief that hasn't yet become true, or that isn't a fact, isn't part of total reality. So what is the difference to the fundamental pattern number 5, fixed expectations, preconception, false assumptions, and taking things for granted, which is the name of the fundamental pattern? On the consciousness level. And what we're looking into today is what we call one of the behavioral patterns. Excessive expectation is you could say, is one specific cutout, one specific aspect of fixed expectations that has become very, very strong. When we have experienced 1 or 10 or 25 of the 8 billion people on this planet who don't like us or who don't like being with us, is it not excessive to think I am not loved? Allow your consciousness to flow through your relationships over the past time of your life. All the relationships, friends, partners, family members, working colleagues, schoolmates. Do you remember a few who did not like you? Who didn't want to spend time with me? You? Who didn't want to spend time with you? How many were they? So how many are there of those people? One, 5, 25, 50, over the course of the whole lifetime, depending on how old you are, 150. And how many people have you met? How many people are on the planet? To discover, to have the opinion or the belief that I am not loved, I am not like. That could be very well where a excessive expectation is hidden. Hidden in the future. So what does the past have to do with excessive expectation? Because an expectation is actually something in something that will happen, isn't it? Well, if there is such a belief inside that this will never happen, or this will turn bad again. Maybe another one is everything always starts out good, but then it turns bad. Or I wasn't loved or liked in the past, so this will not be happening in the future either. So this is one way how we can actually create the manifestation of an fixed expectation for the future, and we can maybe make that happen. So this pattern is very connected to the polarized thinking and to overgeneralization, as well as to unfounded suspicion, as well as to being tormented by loss and gain. An excessive expectation has to do with I want to win something, I want to get something, I want to receive something. Excessive expectations can put us under a lot of stress. Because we will try to attain what we so strongly want. So can you see the connection between I have experienced it like this in the past, but I want that so much. And this way we are creating that want so strongly because it's rooted in the opposite experience. And so we experience a lack or a loss. And that's how it turns over into needing a win or wanting a win so strongly. And excessive expectation can also go the other way. It can be a projection into the future. We can feel very connected to something, a situation, a person, a relationship, a thing. And because we feel so connected to that, we create this excessive expectation in it can feel so right. And so we believe this is gonna happen or this is gonna be in our life. That thing, that relationship or person, that amount of money, that situation, that job. Or enlightenment. So excessive expectation is basically only an overly expressed expectation. It is actually normal to have expectations. We humans function through the consciousness and through learning and through experiences. And the consciousness connects the dots. It connects the experience from the past with what we have learned from it. So it's a natural part to connecting the dots and see and have some expectation. For example, let's take the analogy of a white canvas to paint on, and you are sitting in front of all the colors with your brush, and you haven't painted anything on the canvas yet, but you are about to choose the color green, put it on your brush, and then put the brush to the canvas. And before all of this has happened, it is normal to have an expectation that your canvas will turn out green. An excessive expectation would be that you would expect the canvas to turn out red. It's a falsification of the facts. It's a distortion of the facts. And when we have this excessive information, this strong information inside of us, we are transmitting that out. And we can hinder or block the laws to a degree. So let's look into the information from Janse a little bit, and then we'll see what we do with it in Ling Yuan. The pattern of excessive expectations refers to the mentality and the behavior of having excessive and overly strong expectations concerning of how things should go. For example, my child is very special and gifted, so he will definitely be very successful when he grows up. My husband will get promoted and receive a big pay raise. My wife will definitely become more and more loving and thoughtful. I will not disappoint those who have positive expectations of me, and I will do my best to be what they want me to be and fulfill their expectations. I expect myself to be successful in everything I do and make every wish come true. I strongly hope the world will be a place with no stupid and ugly things, such as aggression, cruelty, war, injustice, and damage to the environment. The politician I hate should definitely not win this election. My expectations of you are all for your own good. Related patterns include fixed expectations, self-centeredness, greediness, hiding and avoiding, competitiveness, eagerness for quick results, making unnecessary comparison, double standards, the urge to control, tormented by loss and gain, exaggerating and debasing, approval seeking. This pattern often manifests as pressuring or abusing in the name of love and care. The fear of being seen as incompetent, stupid, or not smart enough, or the fear of being seen a failure or useless is often behind this pattern. There can also be a worry of losing control or not being recognized or not being approved of, not being loved. This pattern can inflict on oneself and others negative emotions such as discontent, stress, nervousness, anxiety, disappointment, disillusionment, guilt, self-blame, or frustration. This pattern can make people feel they are carrying a heavy burden on their back. It can also make it difficult for a person to accept herself or others and thereby deprive herself and others of happiness and freedom. Let's look into the replacement information from Yangtze. To cultivate Wushin, the 5 heart qualities, especially trust and openness. It is necessary to understand what is a reasonable expectation. A reasonable expectation is one that a person is physically and mentally fit to attempt without feeling much pressure. It is one that can inspire him or her to make a good effort and to grow, and can help him or her break through their limitations, and it is beneficial for her or his life. So that's a reasonable expectation, yeah? It's inspiring. It's beneficial for growth. It helps to break through some of the limitations. And it's something that we are physically and mentally fit to do. An excessive expectation is one that is beyond what a person could or should attempt. Can you see now how it's connecting into, if you have a belief that you cannot or should not receive something, it can turn into an excessive expectation on yourself. And you could feel under pressure all the time. Not only can this lead to the unhealthy emotions mentioned previously, so discontent, stress, nervousness, anxiety, disappointment, disillusionment, guilt, self-blame, frustration. But also it can thwart the healthy development of life and even drive development into the opposite direction. So to thwart something is to make it really, little, to make it smaller and smaller. Or we could make this development go the other way when there is an excessive expectation. It is very noteworthy that often we humans are unable to distinguish between a reasonable expectation and an excessive one. They see their excessive expectations as the expression of a good intention and love and care. Parents, in order to fulfill their own wishes, often impose on their children what they themselves have been unable to accomplish. Is this fair? If we have failed to accomplish something, why should we expect our children to do that? So let's come back for a moment to the excessive expectations being seen as an expression of good intention, of love, and of care. When we have this excessive expectation into ourselves or into someone else, we put a lot of pressure there. And that will be simply be able to be this one thing, this one reason for why we cannot attain something or achieve something. When a belief is so strong that it will or will not happen, that might drive it to having to happen. If it's the thing that we don't want to happen, it will happen maybe because of the strong belief, because it's false, and the universe always helps us to find out about falseness and the true self as well, actually. And if it's something that we don't want to happen, oh yeah, sorry, I said that already. If it's something that we really want to happen, it might and might not happen because we believe so strongly that it is just going to having to happen. And that's not love. That's not self-love if the excessive expectations towards self. And it's not love either, and not care if the excessive expectations towards someone else. When we are exerting so much effort but cannot feel happy or even feel very tired, we should examine the expectations we place on ourselves and whether we are attempting to fulfill the expectations of others. Is it time to put the baggage down? So can we instead just relax and observe if what we believe against or believe in is too strong? If we expect something bad to happen, if we expect something good to happen so strongly, or do we have to be someone else for someone else? Or do we have to be someone else because society is so different than you, maybe? Functions so differently than you? Perfectionism is a typical manifestation of the pattern of excessive expectations. When is it time to give yourself a break and to let go of your grip? The higher the expectation, the bigger the disappointment. In fact, excessive expectations don't bring more hope. On the contrary, they bring more problems and disappointment. Discontent, dissatisfaction, fear, or refusal to accept can all be causes of excessive expectations. I'll repeat this one more time. Discontent, dissatisfaction, fear, or refusal to accept. Those can all be the causes of excessive expectations. Learn to accept, be content, and allow things to follow their own course. And follow and respect those laws. This pattern will gradually change and good things will happen naturally. We should always have sound goals and do our best to achieve them. However, we should take a relaxed attitude towards the outcome, no matter how far or close it is to our expectations. So sound goals, what are sound goals? For that, we need to examine our value system. The values that we base our life on. When we examine those, we can find out that maybe the goals are not sound. Not purposeful, not meaningful, not giving us a sense of purpose, not fulfilling us. And then when we have looked into that, we can exchange them or starting to exchange them. And then do our best, literally the best we can do. And if our best is really, really bad in our idea, that's fine. It still is our best. So we don't have to do better and better. We only have to do our best, the best at that moment. And then we can relax. Relax into the laws, the destiny. We can relax into the reality. Okay, so maybe it has not been so good in the past. But why would I keep assuming it's going to continue that badly? The same is true for the opposite. If we have been gaining and gaining and gaining a lot, maybe when loss comes around, it doesn't mean that everything is bad. It just means that, well, gain and loss go together, and it was an excessive expectation that we constantly are gaining or can gain constantly. And this gives us that awareness and that possibility to be okay with what is. And this opens up that space inside. This opens up that belief that the good things won't happen ever. This opens up that belief that the bad things will come around over and over and over again. So we are relaxed towards the future, we are relaxed towards the past. This has happened, and what will need to happen will happen. But I will not keep putting too much control on how this will have to look like. And this way, we don't set ourselves up for whatever could have happened if it's something that was a good thing and that could have happened because it was part of our laws. But we kept negating it, we kept debasing it, we kept it being impossible or too beautiful to be true. This way, when we relax into it and when we give off the control, in other words, surrender, give up the excessive expectation or the false belief, the law can manifest. So we're not blocking it out anymore. And this way, we can maybe also avert something hurtful that could have happened or would have happened. And also, if something happens that doesn't feel so wonderful for us, when we haven't set ourselves up in fixed expectations that this will never ever happen again or won't happen to us, we won't be falling into such a big, strong disappointment afterwards that it has happened. The bad things have happened. The good things have happened. Maybe they are all there, a good thing because they have happened, so we can relax into. That's something that we still have attached to in our consciousness through a false identification. And when we have attached to some information that is false, also not reality, we have still kept transmitting that information through our attachment, through our identification with that false information being real. So why should your body not heal? Why should you not attain the true self? Why should you not be loved? Just because you're excessively expecting it never to happen? trusting into the laws. Your true self is in there, so it will come out when the time is right. And when you keep doing your best, keep growing. But if you're putting yourself into a state of stress, rush, hurry, like as if it would be a competition to get better, to heal something in the body, or to attain realization, or to find love. And you can, of course, apply your own strongest topic that comes up for you right now to that situation. What if it won't change? Well, first of all, that in itself is false, because everything changes. So if we are going out from, if we're starting in this discussion or this sake, this example from a negative point of view, if you are in the situation that you're sick, close to death, far away from the true self, far away from functioning, whatever is functioning, etc., etc. What if it doesn't change in your time frame that you have decided it should have changed or will change? You will lose so much driving force and motivation, so much inspiration. You won't maybe keep doing the work to work through it so that the change can happen. And this is how we can get stuck in things. It will change when all the effort is done and when the laws are in compliance. From my own personal experience, excessive expectations and working with them, becoming aware of them and soften them up is totally worth it. I used to make my life really difficult because that excessive expectation pattern was really, strongly influencing me in my life. So we get quite strong, let's say, lessons from the universe. So in the end, it's okay. We'll just be trained by the universe to soften the expectations and to become aware where we have been lost in excessiveness and how we can replace it or down, tone it down to an reasonable expectation. So it can act as motivation, act as as driving force, act as inspiration. Maybe you still have an issue. You think inside of yourself, okay, but still, how can I find out if it's reasonable or if it's excessive? You can use your state and the state of your heart, your chest, how you feel about an expectation. When you feel, when you have a sense of joy with the expectation, when you have a sense of lightness and ease, when you feel like you're looking forward, and so you're feeling inspired, you feel eager to do the work to fulfill the expectation. When you feel happy to do the work so that the expectation can be fulfilled. That's what motivation feels like. That's what inspiration feels like. Then you're probably on, a reasonable path of expectation. And when you feel very stressed out or guilty, you know, not light, heavy, or unhappy, then you might want to look into if you're having excessive expectations in something. So for the coming Yuan practice, if you don't know what to work on, if you are not aware yet of some excessive expectation, so the first question in Yuan is that you inquire, or that your heart inquires for, is, do you recognize it? So if you don't know where to, how to get started, you can allow your consciousness gently to go into a very honest state with yourself. And have a look where you feel pressure towards something in the future that you feel stressed out about. And then you can allow your heart to ask your true self and the universe, is this an excessive expectation I have? And then you can start going down the other questions. So that is already a manifestation, but you can also ask for more manifestations being part of that expectation, that excessive one. And then you can allow your consciousness to go to the causes and how they have developed from there, from being caused, and how it has kept forming that pattern stronger and stronger. And from there, you can honestly allow the universe and your true self to show you a few possible negative effects if you don't replace it. That's nothing scary. That can be very inspirational as well. Can be a wonderful driving force. So this requires a lot of honesty and courage. And then you might as well go to the next question about letting your heart inquire about how do I keep explaining it to uphold that pattern? So what are my reasons? In this case, the false self's reasons. Why do I continue to let that run? What are my explanations? How do I excuse or validate to keep allowing this unhealthy expectation, this excessive expectation to limit me? And then you go into what is my intention in regards to what to do with this pattern? Do I want to change it? Do I want to see the false in this unhealthy pattern? Do I allow all of this? And this question you can keep moving forward if you need to. If the true self and the universe don't bring you any information, you can always start with this question first. I can't see an excessive expectation yet, but I definitely want to discover it so I can change it. And then you can relax again and see if now you will receive some answers. Yeah. Be flexible. Try to not have an excessive expectation in when, which information or what question needs to be asked and what information needs to come first. And then you allow your heart to inquire the true self and the universe for replacement information in that regards to that excessive expectation and to that excessive expectation. If you're finding in the beginning, do I recognize this pattern or what are the manifestations? If you detect quite a lot of them, you can decide in that moment which one you pick, or if you go into a sort of a random way Just trust your heart and your true self. And you can do another excessive expectation tomorrow. You might want to write them down, the manifestations, after the Ling Yuan practice, after the class, if you're finding a lot. And then you can, connect with the Qifield of this class again tomorrow and do another Ling Yuan and work with that. Try that one out. And then towards the end of your Ling Yuan practice, you allow your heart to go into the replacement information and to feel good about it, meaning you affirming through the Wu Xin. So you're trying to love that replacement information and going into the state of love. And go into the state of trust. Can you now trust that expectation? Has it turned into a reasonable one? Can you now trust yourself? Go into the state of trust that if this is yours to have, you will receive it. As long as you keep doing the necessary work. Be open about it. Give your control to the universe, to the laws. Be grateful. Affirm with gratitude. Gratitude about having seen all the things that you have been shown in the Ling Yuan practice or during the Ling Yuan practice. Grateful that you have detected the excessive expectation. And you might just, be so connected with the replacement information that you feel a change and a transformation during the practice itself. No excessive expectations here too. It can happen in 3 months down the road. It can happen tomorrow after the practice. But some things sometimes change during Ling Yuan, and you can just feel, wow, you can be with this wise replacement information, the wisdom, and it just feels so strong, and then gratitude will come up very naturally. And then respect it all and have awe about it. Gongqing. And then you close up. And then you close up. Your practice, you draw back the Qi and information to the center of your head, to your heart, which you've done with affirming and accepting through Wu Xin, the changes, and inviting all these changes. And then you draw back to lower Dantian. And before you get up, if you've been sitting cross-legged, make sure to guide Qi down all the way to the feet. And if you like, you can do the head and face. I'm saying this now because then everybody can practice as far and as much one feels. And I will just hang up silently, so you will not be disturbed in your practice. Remember to unify with the chi field deeply, to trust the chi field, which we're gonna do together now. So please sit up. If you are sitting on a chair, try to not lean back. Go into really good position, feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting cross-legged, lift Hui Yin to lower Dantian, lifting by Hui. Look straight forward and draw your vision back. Relax fully. Relax your whole body. And associate with being chi. You are a chi field. And expand out and say hello to the universe. Surrender. Give off all your control and become one. One with the universal chi, love, and wisdom. Drawing back, allowing the universe to nurture your heart with compassion and love for yourself and others. And you can now observe how the chi is flowing freely and how you feel light and free. Awareness in lower dantian. Think dantian and do dantian breathing. Breathe in and out dantian. Breathe with dantian. Awareness in lower dantian. Allow it to rise up to your heart. Awareness into Xinling, your heart consciousness. Try to feel every word of the Kaishin words as a state. Transform the words into a state, an experience in your heart. Heaven, the whole universe and the Qifield, earth, all of nature, and all humans are all teachers with infinite wisdom. I open my Shin Men to trust and to love them all unconditionally, with gratitude in my heart. I receive their love and wisdom, and I unify with it. My Shen, Yi, and Shin are fully aligned with the light of Tao. Surrender to the universe and its laws. With Gongqing, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Now allow your awareness to become one between Shin and Shen. Your heart and head space are one space. Trust the Qifield and yourself for this practice. The infinite potential of your true self will connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and will bring you information that you need to grow. You are open for inquiries of your own heart, and you're open to the inspiration of the universe to find information. And then go and allow your heart to inquire and your Shen to bring you information about excessive expectations.